start. You
Right.
use all the tax efficiencies, and then you step up into different things.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio. You're tuned to the sunrise, and obviously, we're having a conversation that is relevant to climate change. All right. So, if you want to find out more, if you are very concerned about the environment, or if you have any questions that you need answers to, well, the best place for you to stay tuned to is, in fact, Relax Radio, right? Because I'm here to answer all the questions, all your doubts that you have with regard to climate change, to help you understand the situation, so that you need to do so that you will understand what exactly you need to do to help save the planet. All right, so don't actually forget to tune into the show. You can text me or call me on 078 share your thoughts, share your opinions with me, because I would love to hear whatever it is that you have to say. All right, now something else that I obviously have to tell you as well is not to forget to go follow us on our socials. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube as well. All right, because since we're always on our phones, since we're always scrolling our socials and whatnot, it would be absolutely amazing once in a while for you to have an idea about what exactly happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the world as well. And I'm talking about science, I'm talking about sports, whatever it is that you need to know about. You can actually know about all of it by tuning into Relax Radio. So don't forget to download our app either, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and updated about the very latest that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the world. All right. However, now I want to very quickly head into our conversation. So that I can help you understand how this is in fact the most dire warning that they've given, and why we need to take immediate consequences, immediate measures, or rather immediate measures, to make sure that we protect our planet and protect our home. All right, now to very quickly run you through what exactly we were talking about. We were talking about how we're seeing, recently we've seen a lot of flash floods, right? We've seen a lot of forest fires, and we've seen so many other we've seen so many other disasters as well, right? Obviously, I'm talking about all of these disasters, and if anything, what you've actually noticed through all of this is that it all seems to be happening so soon, right? I mean, it just it looks like it's happening right after the other, right? It's almost as if there's no break. And ever since 2020, we've just been experiencing a lot of bad things, because there was COVID. Then there were forest fires in Australia, there were forest fires in America, there were flash floods in Germany, China, and England, and then there was heat waves in Canada and Siberia. So if you actually think about it, this planet is actually going through a lot right now, right? And I'm not even exaggerating when I say that, because to be quite honest, our planet is going through a lot right now, right? And one thing that you haven't, I mean, I don't know if you've drawn the link or you've established that link right now, or whether you've ever thought of it like that. However, if you haven't, I'm here to tell you that all of those things, the flash floods, the heat waves, the forest fires, those things are actually influenced by climate change. The world is burning. The world is, sort of going through so much because of climate change. And climate change is actually our fault, right? Because when we came to this planet, there was industrialization. We started emitting all different types of gases to the environment. It was greenhouse gases, carbon emissions, different things like that were actually very, very unhealthy for the planet. All right, and that's basically what happened. All right, what we did when we what basically happened was, when we started emitting all of these, it actually affected our planet very badly. And because of our lack of action, because that's what we do, when we're told about a crisis, we think, oh, you know what, it probably won't be as bad, they're probably exaggerating it, and we don't really make any changes about it, right? And because of our lack of action, that has actually exacerbated, and it has in fact gotten worse, because the recent findings of the IPCC report that were published recently actually says that we are beyond the point of no return, right? From the famous from the famous, drama, Phantom of the Opera, we're actually beyond the point of no return, because that's how bad things are. There's actually nothing we can do other than cutting down our emissions completely, cut and making sure we have deep cut emissions. Otherwise, we're not actually going to help save the planet and whatnot. So if you want to find out more about this, make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to keep talking more about this. But until then, make sure you stay tuned.
Again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, has how much it's changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense. They can't
accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Or you didn't do very well. And they get upset. And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young. Well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, he might say to me, you had one to forget.
That's it. Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, yeah, that's the real fact of the matter, yeah.
He'd say to me, you had one to forget. Get over it. And that was it. So I dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. An inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. And what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much a lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because, as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid. I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on the Sunrise, and we're talking about something very, very important, right? We're talking about the climate change report that was released by the IPCC, and why we need to be worried about our future, why we need to be worried about the future of this planet. All right. Now, before we head into our conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that if you have any thoughts, if you have any opinions that you want to share with me, please do get in touch with me. You can text me, call me on 07852473473, and let me know what your thoughts and opinions on this are. Let me know if you think you're doing enough, if you think we are doing enough, and what exactly huge multinational corporations and big corporations that actually emit a lot of carbon emissions to the environment need to be doing. All right. So let's very quickly run through what exactly the IPCC report spoke about. Right now, the IPCC report basically said that by 2030 we're actually going to reach a temperature of 1.5 degrees Celsius or 1.6 degrees Celsius. All right. And the reason that it's something to be worried about, obviously, is because they actually predicted these temperatures for 2040. However, they're saying that by 2030 this thing will actually happen. and we'll have to face the effects of we'll have to face the effects of what exactly we have been doing. All right, so something that was supposed to happen in by 2040 is now going to happen in 2030, because during the past 3 years we've managed to pollute the environment, and we've managed to pollute the environment so much that it's actually getting back to us, right? So 10 years of being able to save the planet is now actually reduced to just 9 years. All right, an additional 10 years, if I put it that way, right? And something else that you need to keep in mind is also we have something called natural climate allies, right? Which are basically these forests, these forests, the soil, and the ocean that tend to absorb the carbon dioxide emissions by humans, right? And now it's become so saturated that that there's a sharp decline in terms of how much of carbon dioxide is in fact absorbed by the natural climate allies, right? And something else that you need to understand is that they've found, or they've created, this whole new field, which is basically referred to as attribution science, to essentially quantify the extent to which human induced global heating increases the intensity or the likelihood of a specific extreme weather event, like a hurricane or even a heat wave or a wildfire. So all of these things have actually been caused by us. All right, so that's why I'm here today, and I'm pleading, and I'm actually telling you, look, if you can cut down, or if you can change your lifestyle for the better, just go ahead and do that, because if you don't, we're not really going to have a planet to live in for the next few years. All right, so make sure to do that. However, it's time for me to head out of here, but don't worry, because throughout the next 2 hours we will keep you informed about the IPCC, the report, and what exactly needs to be done. So until then, make sure you stay tuned, because I will be back in a few more minutes.